Hello my Linians, this is Teacher Sarah, and today we are going to discuss fair market value and deferred annuity. This video tutorial is based from your learning activity sheets in General Mathematics Quarter 2 Week 4. So bring out your learning activity sheets and turn your learner's module on pages 188 to 105. Our learning targets are: calculate the fair market value of a cash flow stream that includes an annuity, and calculates the present value and period of deferral of a deferred annuity. Before the lesson, let us have some warm-up questions. I have some questions for you to answer. Question number 1. Blank is a sequence of payments made at equal intervals or period of time. Time starts now. So the answer is annuity. Question number 2. On a girl's 10th birthday, her father started to deposit 5,000 pesos quarterly at the end of its term in a fund that pays 1% compounded monthly. How much will be in fund on his daughter's 17th birthday? Use J equals 0.002502 and N is equal to 28. Time starts now. The answer is excellent. 144,832.94 pesos. And now, after you answer the warm-up questions that I'll give you a while ago, so this is very related in our topic for today. So we will now apply the concepts of present and future values to solve problems about cash flows. So what is cash flow? A cash flow is a term that refers to payment received or cash inflows, or payment or deposit made, or cash outflows. Cash inflows can be represented by positive numbers and cash outflows can be represented by negative numbers. The fair market value or economic value of a cash flow or payment stream on a particular date refers to a single amount that is equivalent to the value of the payment stream at that date. This particular date is called the focal date. Example, Mr. Ramos received 2 offers on a lot that he wants to sell. Mr. Ocampo has offered 50,000 pesos and 1 million lump sum payment 5 years from now. Mr. Cruz has offered 50,000 pesos plus 40,000 pesos every quarter for 5 years. Compare the fair market value of 2 offers if money can earn 5% compounded annually. Which offer has a higher market value? So first is to identify the given. Mr. Ocampo's offer is 50,000 pesos down payment plus 1 million pesos lump sum after 5 years, while Mr. Cruz offers is 50,000 down payment and 40,000 pesos every quarter after 5 years. So both of them has the same down payment. So to find or to identify offer that has a higher market value, So you are going to find the fair market value of its offer. So the first step is to illustrate first the cash flow of two offers using the time diagram. So look in the time diagram for Mr. Ocampo's offer. So at the start, down payment is 50,000 and then a lump sum of 1 million after 5 years. While Mr. Cruz offer is same, he has a down payment of 50,000 pesos and then every quarter has 40,000 pesos. So you choose a focal date and determine the values of the two offers at the focal date. Note, it is usually convenient to choose focal date to either be at the start or at the end of the term. Choose the focal date to be the start of the term. Since the focal date is at t equals 0, you compute for the present value of its offer. For Mr. Ocampo's offer, since 50,000 pesos is offered today, then its present value is still 50,000 pesos. The present value of 1 million pesos offered 5 years from now is P equals F multiplied by 1 plus J raised to negative N. So you recall the formula that you learned in finding the present value at compounded interest. So from P equals F multiplied by 1 plus J raised to negative N, you replace all the given values. So you replace F as 1 million, then multiply by the constant 1 plus 0.05 raised to negative 5, wherein 0.05, it comes from the annual rate of interest, which is compounded 5%. So P is equal to 783,526.17. So to get for the fair market value, so that is equal to the down payment plus the present value. So equals 50,000 pesos plus 783,526.17, a total of 833,526.17. And for Mr. Cruz offer, compute for the present value of a general annuity with quarterly payments but with annual compounding at 5%. So you solve the equivalent rate of 5% compounded annually with quarterly payment. So using the formula for general annuity as you learned in your previous lesson, you equate that f sub 1 is equal to f sub 2. Then using the formula for the future value, so to get the value of I, or that is the nominal rate, is equal to 0.012272. And to get for the present value of an annuity, it is given by the formula P equals R times 1 minus quantity 1 plus J raised to negative N all over J. Then substitute all the given values, wherein your regular payment quarterly is 40,000, so you replace it in the formula for R, then the computed J, then the value of N. So therefore the present value of annuity is equal to 705,574.68. Fair market value of Mr. Cruz offer is equal to the down payment 50,000 pesos plus the present value 705,574.68. So the fair market value equals 755,574.68. Hence, Mr. Ocampo's offer has a higher market value. The difference between the market values of the two offers at the start of the term is 833,526.17 minus 755,574.68 is equal to 77,953.49. So second one is to choose the focal date to be the end of the term. Mr. Ocampo's offer at the end of the term 1 million pesos is valued as such because this is the value at t equals 5. The future value of 50,000 pesos at the end of the term at 5% compounded annually is given by from f equals p times quantity 1 plus j raised to n is equal to 50,000 pesos times 1 plus 0.05 raised to the fifth power equals 63,814.08. So fair market value is equal to 63,814.08 plus 1 million. So the fair market value is equal to 1,063,814.08. So while Mr. Cruz offers the future value of this ordinary general annuity is given by F equals R times quantity 1 plus J raised to N minus 1 over J. So that is a formula in finding the future value for ordinary general annuity. Replacing the given, the regular payment is 40,000, then multiply by quantity 1 plus the value of J raised to value of N, which is 20 minus 1 divided by J, 0.012272. So the future value is equal to 900,509.40. So the future value of 50,000 pesos at the end of the term is 63,814.08, which was already determined. So the fair market value is equal to 63,814.08 plus 900,509.40, a total of 964,321.42. So that is under Mr. Cruz's offer. As expected, Mr. Ocampo's offer still has higher market value even if the focal date to be at the end of the term. The difference between the market values of the two offers at the end of the term is 1,063,814.08 minus 964,323.48 is equal to 99,490.60. So you can also check that the present value of the difference is the same as the difference computed when the focal date was the start of the term. So fee is equal to 99,490.60 times 1 plus 0.05 minus 5 equals 77,953.49. Example number 2. Company A offers 150,000 pesos at the end of 3 years plus 300,000 pesos at the end of 5 years. Company B offers 25,000 at the end of each quarter for the next 5 years. Assume that money is worth 8% compounded semi-annually. Which offer has a better market value? So the given for company A, 150,000 pesos at the end of 3 years and 300,000 pesos at the end of 5 years, while company B offers 25,000 pesos at the end of each quarter for the next 5 years. So you ask to find the fair market value of each offer. So first is to illustrate the cash flow of two offers using the time diagram. For company A offer, so this is the time diagram. So for at the end of 3 years, 150,000 and 300,000 at the end of 5 years. While company B, this is the time diagram, 25,000 pesos in every quarter for the next 5 years. So you choose a focal date and determine the values of the two offers at that focal date. Suppose that selected focal date is at the start of the term. Since the focal date is at the start of the term, you compute for the present value of its offer. So for company A offer, the present value of 150,000 pesos 3 years from now is computed using the formula for finding the present value at the compound interest. So P sub 1 is equal to F times quantity 1 plus J raised to negative N, substituting the given values, that is 150,000 pesos times quantity 1 plus 0.04 raised to negative 6 equals 118,547.18. While the present value of 300,000 pesos 5 years from now is P sub 2 equals F times 1 plus J raised to negative N is equal to 300,000 pesos multiplied by 1 plus 0.04 raised to negative 10 equals 202,669.25. So fair market value, you add P sub 1 plus P sub 2, so that is equal to 321,216.42. And for company B offer, so you compute also for the present value of a general annuity with quarterly payments but with semi-annual compounding at 8%. So you solve first the equivalent rate compounded quarterly of 8% compounded semi-annually. So you equate that F sub 1 is equal to F sub 2. So you replace the formula in finding the future value to solve for the value of I. So your I or J is equal to 0.019804. Then after getting the value of J, you solve for the present value of an annuity, and it is given by P equals R times 1 minus quantity 1 plus J raised to negative N over J. So regular payment is 25,000 pesos. Then you replace the value of J in the formula. So the present value is 409,560.09. So therefore, company B offer is preferable since its market value is larger. Okay, next is deferred annuity. So what is deferred annuity? A deferred annuity is an annuity that does not begin until a given time interval has passed. The period of deferral is the time between the purchase of an annuity and the start of the payment for the deferred annuity. So review how to calculate the present value of an ordinary annuity. So you recall the formula, and that is given by P equals R times 1 minus quantity 1 plus J raised to negative N over J. So suppose Mr. Grant wants to purchase a cellular phone. He decided to pay monthly for 1 year starting at the end of the month. How much is the cost of the cellular phone if his monthly payment is 2,500 and interest is at 9% compounded monthly? So from the problem, let us identify the given. So we have R equals 2,500, the regular payment. T is equal to 1 year. R equals 9% or 0.09. M, or the period of conversion, is equal to 12, and N is equal to 12. Then you ask to find the P, or the present value. So from the formula of P, just replace all the given values. Regular payment is 2,500 multiplied by 1 minus quantity 1 plus the value of J raised to negative 12 over J. So P equals 28,587.28. So what if Mr. Grant is considering another cellular phone that has a different payment scheme? In this scheme, he has to pay 2,500 for 1 year, starting at the end of the 4th month. If the interest rate is also 9% converted monthly, how much is the cost value of the cellular phone? So in this example, Mr. Grant pays starting at the end of the 4th month to the end of the 15th month. The time diagram for this option is given by, okay, so the payment is started at the end of 4 month to the end of the 5th month. So now, how do we get the present value of this annuity? So first step, we first assume payments are also being made during the period of deferral. In other words, there are no skip payments. So again, this is the cash flow, no skip payment. From the previous lesson, the present value of this ordinary interest is given by P equals R times 1 minus quantity 1 plus J raised to negative N over J. So use this formula. So again, the given, then you find P. So from the formula, P equals R times 1 minus quantity 1 plus J raised to negative N over J. Substituting the values and the value of J and N, P is equal to 35,342.49 pesos. So then for step 2, we now subtract the present value of the payments made during the period of deferral. Again, based on the previous lesson, the present value P of the 3 payments during the period of deferral is given R equals 2,500, T is 1 year, R equals 9% or 0.09, M is 12, and N is 3. Then you find for the value of P. So again, from the formula, P equals R times 1 minus quantity 1 plus J raised to negative N over J. Substituting the formula, so wherein here is 3, then same value of J, and the regular payment is 2,500. So the fee or the present value is equal to 7,388.89. So then for step 3, since the payments in the period of deferral are artificial payment, we subtract the present value of this payment. We obtain 35,342.49 minus the artificial payment 7,388.89 equals 27,953.60. So thus the present value of the cellular phone is 27,953.60. So comparing the present values of the two schemes, the present value in the second scheme is lower than the present value in the first because the payments in the second scheme will be received on a later date. So derive the formula for calculating the present value of a deferred annuity by generalizing the procedure from the previous example. So consider the following time diagram where K, artificial payment of R, are placed in the period of deferral. So from the time diagram, for the period of deferral. So find the present value of a deferred annuity. So is derived or given by P equals R times 1 minus quantity 1 plus J raised to negative times quantity K plus N over J minus R times 1 minus quantity 1 plus J raised to negative K over J. So this is the formula that you derive to get the present value of a deferred annuity. So where R is the regular payment, J is the interest rate per period, N is the number of payments, and K is the number of conversion periods in the period of deferral, or this is the number of artificial payments. So to determine the present value of a deferred annuity, find the present value of all K plus N payments, including the artificial payments. Then subtract the present value of all the artificial payments. Using the formula, we can easily compute the deferred annuity. So let's go back to our problem. The given are 2,500, R is 0.09, M is 12, N equals 12, and K equals 3. So using the formula, you find for the present value easily. So P equals R times quantity 1 plus J raised to negative N minus quantity 1 plus J raised to negative times quantity K plus N over J. So substituting all the given values, then the value of J, then K and N, also the regular payment. So our fee or the present value is 27,953.33. Let's solve the following deferred annuity problems. First problem. On his 40th birthday, Mr. Ramos decided to buy a pension plan for himself. This plan will allow him to claim 10,000 pesos quarterly for 5 years starting 3 months after his 60th birthday. What one-time payments should he make on his 40th birthday to pay on this pension plan if the interest rate is 8% compounded quarterly? So let's have a time diagram. Okay, the given R equals 10,000 pesos, R is 0.08, M equals 4, N equals MT, and that is 4 times 5, which is equal to 20. K equals 4 times 20 equals 80. Find P, or the present value. So using the deferred annuity formula, replacing all the given values, so P equals 33,538.38. Therefore, the present value of this monthly pension is 33,538.38. Number 2, a credit card company offers a deferred payment option for the purchase of any appliance. Rose plans to buy a smart television set with monthly payments of 4,000 for 2 years. The payments will start at the end of 3 months. How much is the cash price of the TV set if the interest rate is 10% compounded quarterly? So again, identify the given. R is 4,000, R is 0.10 or 10%, M equals 4, then M is equal to 12, then J is given 0.008265, N is equal to 12 times 2 equals 24, and K equals 2. Find the present value. Okay, here is the time diagram. At the start of the payment, at the end of 3 months, the regular payment is 4,000. So using the formula in finding the present value of a deferred annuity, so just replace all the given values to solve for the present value. So P is equal to 85,338.09. So thus the present value of this monthly pension is 85,338.09. So how to find the period of deferral? So find the period of deferral in each of the following deferred annuity problem. One way to find out the period of deferral is to count the number of artificial payment. Let's have some examples. A. Monthly payments of 1,000 pesos for 4 years that will start 5 months from now. The period of deferral equals 4 months or 4 periods. Letter B. Semi-annual payments of 5,000 pesos for 8 years that will start 3 years from now. Period of deferral equals 7 periods or 7 half-year intervals. Letter C. Find the present value of a 5,000 pesos annuity payable quarterly for 7 years but deferred for 5.5 years. Money is worth 9.6% converted quarterly. The period of deferral is equal to 5.5 or equal to 11/2. Then the period of deferral, you multiply it by 4 and that is equal to 22. Another, letter D. To start an IT business, Elmer and Erwin borrowed 4.5 million with interest at 10% compounded quarterly. They will repay the debt by making 12 equal quarterly payments. If the first payment is due at the end of 18 months, how much is the quarterly payment? So the first regular payment for 18 months corresponds to 18 over 12 times 4 equals 6 period. So the period of deferral is 5. Letter E, find the present value of a 50,000 pesos annuity payable each 3 months for 10 years but deferred for 5 years. Money is worth 12% compounded quarterly. So the deferred 5 years, so the deferred or the period of deferral is 5 times 4 equals 20. After our discussion in finding the fair market value, the present value and future value, and the formulas that you learn in finding the deferred annuity and also finding the period of deferral, this is now your turn to do your task. So reminder, do not write anything on this activity sheet. Write your answer on a separate long bond paper. For enrichment activity 1, read the following annuity problem. Fill in the blanks in the statement that follows. Then for enrichment activity 2, you solve the following problems. Write and show your solution on your answer sheet. And for the wrap-up activity, you also required to answer this so that you can get extra point or bonus point that should be added in your score in enrichment activity. I hope you learned something today. If you have questions or clarification regarding the topic we discussed, feel free to contact your subject teacher through text, call, or post your questions in your official Facebook group or page. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Bye.